Oh, I see. Thank you very much, Faustina, for having me. My name is Dr. Stella Okezie, and thank you everyone for coming. I'm a GP in West London. I'm a mom of three. I'm a budding serial entrepreneur, and I also model on the side. So, like Faustina said, and all the other speakers have alluded to, this pandemic has shaken even the strongest people because, like Maureen said when she was talking, some people are naturally more resilient than others. Some people are born positive, but it has shaken even the usually positive ones. I see that a lot at work. Back in December 2019, we heard of a virus in Wuhan, China, and just like every other disease that breaks out, say Ebola in Africa or SARS, we were thinking that it would be contained. Life kept going on as normal. I myself wondered why the airports were not closed sooner because I had some patients coming in to tell me, Doc, it's going to get here. And being a professional, I didn't want to scare them. I didn't have all the information, but being a positive person, I just felt, oh, even if it comes, we're going to contain it quickly. But what they didn't realize was that some people had even brought it into the country before. So March came the lockdown, and with this lockdown, I saw a very high, sharp spike in mental health. Everybody was calling with different things. Bear in mind that mental health problems don't just present as depression straight away. Some people can come to you and say, oh, doctor, I'm tired all the time. And then when you probe, you see that they haven't really got any physical conditions that would make them tired all the time. It's just up here. I think we tend to underrate the mind-body connection. It's so, so strong, actually, because the mind literally controls the body, whether we believe it or not. So I know Faustina said I should talk about sleep routines, diet, and all that, but I'm choosing to dwell more on the mental health aspects of it, just because, I mean, everyone knows what they should do about food, which is basically try to choose whole living foods. By living foods, I mean foods in their natural state. So by that, I mean avoid all refined foods. And if you're going to eat refined ones, try and stick to the ones that are not over processed and try and reduce the unsaturated fats. I think that's all. I don't really subscribe to people cutting out things because we are human beings and food is part of the fun of life, actually. So if you cut out those things, when you go back to eating them, you're going to overdo it. That's why diets never really work. So whatever you choose to do diet-wise, there has to be a lifestyle change. And while I'm talking about food, I think it's important to also state that the gut, which is the digestive system, a lot of research is coming up now to classify it as part of the nervous system because we have a lot of bacteria, millions of them actually, that live in our guts that actually control how the chemicals in our brain work. So when you're eating food, it's not just about staying alive or losing weight or doing staving off cancer or disease. It's about how you feel. What you eat affects how you feel. So that's important. So when I talk to patients, that when I find out it's not really something, they don't have anemia or cancer or anything rheumatological that will make them tired all the time or diabetes, I tend to start asking them, so how are you? What's going on in your life? I know that this pandemic has affected a lot of us. How is it for you? And then you find out when you actually let them talk and just lead with questions, they themselves agree that it's the pandemic. And then we go about talking, how have you been coping? What are your routines? What do you do in the morning? Do you get time to exercise in your busy day? Are you drinking enough water? 10 minutes is not enough to talk about, how these little things that we overlook contribute to our health. And the thing I've been selling a lot these days is mindfulness. When people hear mindfulness, they start thinking, oh, I have to be like in the cross-like position on the floor, like the Dalai Lama or like Mahatma Gandhi. No, mindfulness is just simply being in the moment, noticing what you're doing, not letting your thoughts wander when you're doing things. For instance, I'm brushing my teeth. I will myself to just be present, feel my hand holding the brush, feel the movement of the brush on my teeth. Just those little things, they matter, believe it or not. And another thing that I try to tell patients, it's a core of CBT. For instance, when people are anxious or worried or depressed, there's always a thought that started that process. And if you can catch that thought and challenge it, you might be able to refocus or reframe it. So for instance, I have a presentation in 2 days and I'm very worried, I'm shaking, I even get headaches. But if I can tell myself, why am I feeling this way? What am I thinking? The thoughts could be, oh, I'm not good enough, they're going to laugh at me, I'm not going to do well. But if I actually ask myself, is there evidence for this, the way I'm feeling? Is it really true? Then I can look back at what I've done previously. I can pull from my previous experience, like, oh no, this is not true. I can actually do this. I've prepared enough. I know this. And that's the reframing. So all the speakers really spoke beautifully. They've actually touched on most of these things. It's all about mindsets, like reframing. No matter how bad a situation seems, apart from death, obviously, if you're able to take a step back and actually get an aerial view of the situation, you would see that there's something you can do about it or something to learn from it, and you can step back and then relaunch. Sometimes you might need other people to help you see things clearly, be it doctors, psychotherapists, good friends that have your interests at heart. But I think everything is related when it comes to healthy lifestyles. Sleep is a major one. A lot of problems we have is due to lack of sleep. When you sleep, it's almost like your body does a cleanup, just try to come. Imagine what's the biggest park in the UK or Disneyland running all through without closing up for them to clean up. How do you think the place is going to look after just a day? So you need at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Some people say, oh, I run on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and they think it's a badge of honor. It's not. You're slowly damaging yourself because lack of sleep has been linked to cancer, early onset of brain degenerative diseases. Even if you're trying to lose weight and you're not sleeping, it's not gonna work. When you sleep, your body releases the growth hormone, and the growth hormone is really, really good for the body. For children, it helps them grow. For us, it keeps us trim and fit. When you sleep, the hormones that regulate your appetite tend to do what they need to do properly. Your insulin levels are better regulated, and because once insulin is not regulated, you start having all sorts of problems. Most problems can be linked to insulin resistance. So yes, that's because I'm giving the talk off the top of my head. So yes, so that's it about sleep. Water, very essential. Almost every illness, if it's not serious, by serious I mean things like cancer, can be helped or even treated with water. Things like chronic headaches, arthritis, think about even ulcer. So what happens is, for instance, think of the body. The body has a starting 5, right? Like the starting 5 are the main organs: the brain, the liver, the kidneys, the lungs. So when you're not drinking enough, it tries to conserve water for those organs. And the first organs to start feeling this, it doesn't consider your muscles or your skin as important. That's why when you're dehydrated, your skin starts looking not so good. Your lips get dry, you have headaches, you have joint aches. That's because your body is stealing water from those organs to feed the ones it considers important. If drinking water is also good for your mental health. So all the things are interrelated. It's a pity you have only 10 minutes. So I'm just like doing it there. And exercise, very good as well. Good for your mental health, good for everything. Even if you don't want to lose weight, exercise is very good. In the UK, it's recommended that all adults get 150 minutes of exercise. And when my patients hear exercise, they tend to think it doesn't have to be you dressed up going to the gym. Simple things, just get your body moving. Dance. Do something. There's this really new trend I like, hula hooping. Get a hula hoop, just put your music and dance. So you just have to do all these little things. They help. Sleep, eating right, mindfulness, exercising, and lastly, having a really great support network. We are social animals. We're not meant to live in isolation. Research has shown that human contact reduces the stress hormones. It's a pity that we are on lockdown. You're not really allowed to hug, but hugging actually reduces stress. As in, they've actually done the research where you plug in electrodes and got people to hug, and you could almost see the stress level coming down. It's really good to have a social network who you can talk to, someone you should feel free to talk to. It might not be friends. If you don't have any, talk to your doctor. That's why we are there. Whatever you tell us is confidential, but you need to share. You need to let out those emotions, because if you keep them in, they're going to eat you up, like physically. A lot of, for instance, breast cancer has been linked to emotional sort of issues. So you have to deal with it somehow, be it exercising, be it counseling, but you really have to deal with it. So yeah, that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stella. Thank you. I think Faustina has dropped off. I think she was having problems with her network. So hopefully she should come back on. But thank you so much. That was very insightful and very important. I like what the amazing Ijama put in the chat. Just heard other organs steals water to survive.